Swimming like a shark in a shrimp tank. Big fish, small pond in the shrimp tank.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the post-show video wrap-up of the Shrimp Tank. My name is Lee Heisman. I'm here with my special co-host, Stone Stafford. Stone, welcome.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you for joining the show. And our special guest, it's been 5 years, Mr. Rick Hale, who was on our show July 23rd, 2018 last. There's been so much change in his life. If you remember about Rick, he is the founder of the Keller Williams Heart of Atlanta Group here in Atlanta, of course, with over 1,200 agents. And last year, I think, $3.4 billion of sales for your group. So pretty substantial. But we're not here today to talk about real estate, Rick. We're here today to talk about your evolution as an entrepreneur and, more importantly, the book that you have here.
Absolutely. So, yeah, the most important thing is to find a way to fund the perfect life. And I've been blessed. I mean, life's been good, a lot of hard work, but I was able to rewire, and now I've written a book and excited about making a difference every day, different than I would in my corporate job.
So talk about the book. What exactly? It's been a 10-year journey.
It has.
Talk about the book and what it's about.
So the book's basically a bit of chronicling of my life. I mean, so one of the things I realized early on in life is that, you know, my great-great-great-grandparents, I have no idea. They came from Europe, and I wish they'd left a legacy letter or maybe a journal. And so part of it is that, you know, we all have stories to tell. And I think 3 or 4 generations from now, you know, it's not uncommon that your story goes quiet and dark. And so I thought, man, I want a legacy letter for my kids, but I also want to remind myself of who and what I am so that I continue to do the best I can in pursuit of, a life worth living and a legacy. So that was the motivation. And then it was really about figuring out, what do I have to say that has value, and then who would want to hear about it or listen in. And again, the beginning is a little bit of my story, and there's a silver linings to every difficult situation. And I don't know anybody that's hyper successful that hasn't had challenge. In fact, I think it's almost a prerequisite to be challenged to succeed at a high level. Everyone I know that's crushing it, that are multimillionaires, they have a story to tell, and it's usually from ashes to glory. And so if that's your story, man, this book might be for you. And the meat of the book is a formula for how to craft the perfect you 5 years from now, so that you don't wake up with regrets and do the woulda, shoulda, coulda game. And so there is a step-by-step strategy employed that really helped me, because I found that structure creates freedom, and organic evolution means that the world tells you who and what you are and what you do, not you.
And I got to tell you, Rick, you are a wealth of nuggets. You really are.
Well,
so
thanks.
You talk about legacy. We have entrepreneurs of all ages, mature and younger. If you would have taught to say your 21-year-old self, what would be your don't do what I did lesson moment?
Well, in defense, I had a lot of fun in my 20s, and there's no flaw in fun. I grew long hair, I was in a rock band, and I did all the things rock band people are supposed to do, thinking that was part of the marketing ploy. Here's the lesson. We're the average of the 3 to 5 people we spend the most time with. And I made some good choices, and I made some choices that led me down a path that, there's some regret attached, but thankfully not permanent regret. It became a failure and an experience and a lesson. So I'd say the biggest lesson early on is that who you're aligned with is who you become. And for a decade or so, I kind of goofed off, and part of it was the maturity of just becoming, an adult. But once I was committed to a marriage and a child on the way, things changed for me. And I top graded, if you will, the people that I hung out with, and it really made a difference. Most of what you hear that sounds like golden nuggets is really just borrowed information. There's not new information. It's just how it resonates in your heart and mind, and then ultimately how you behave because of it.
So true.
Oh, but your information, whether it resonates or you've had it, is done in such a way that I'm always learning, and today I'm learning a lot. So let's talk a little bit about this evolution. We have a lot of viewers out there that are entrepreneurs, that want to be entrepreneurs, but some that are also entrepreneurs looking for that next phase of their entrepreneurial journey, and you've attained that. So talk a little bit about how you've been able to extricate yourself from your business so you can focus more on things like this.
Well, part of it is reframing my energy from 1-year goals and commitments to 5-year goals in perspective. When you give yourself a 5-year runway, I think things change, and your perspective on your personal evolution and the evolution of your circumstances becomes much more believable. And half the battle is feeding your subconscious brain positive energy and thoughts, but also feeding it enough reality that it can bite and chew on, that you connect dots, with some level of confidence. And so the 5-year journey really changed it for me. And I believe that money's only good for the good that it does, but without enough of it, you're never free to really become the best, highest version of yourself. So you've got to create passive wealth and income that's not derived or developed directly due to, pull a lever, collect a token, go past go, get your $200. And so for me, it's either own a business or own real estate or other income producing assets. And so that was the story goes back 20 years. I knew 20 years ago that at some point I would extricate myself from my active role and really live into the passion for helping people and doing something that I believe God's gifted me with opportunity. And the longer my head was down in a role, the more I realized I was depriving myself of the gift and the challenge of a new season.
So it sounds like that's your life's passion. So I can see that being an ongoing thing for the rest of your days, which is
100%.
awesome. Lucky us, right? But is there a specific accomplishment that's next for you? Maybe a project or a specific arrival, the next arrival point for you?
So I'm in a beautiful place that I think most of us long for, and that's having margin, and that's having enough free space to actually, reach out into the spiritual world or whatever your higher power thinking is, and also reach into your own heart. I think we have perfect sonar and capacity to be, have, and do whatever we want, and we deny ourselves regularly. The catch is you have to earn the right if it's an economic decision that doesn't favor you. If your job pays, $250 a year and you built a lifestyle around $250,000 a year, it's kind of hard to just bag your job and go serve and do mission work. That said, if you can find a way to control your budget and get really clear on what that awesome, amazing life looks like, and then again, you fund it with passive sources, then you earn the right to have margin. And I'm in a cool phase in that, I've kind of submitted to the higher power that I show up when I'm asked. Yeah. And the cool thing is I don't have to say no often because I have that margin now. I don't have a day job. I don't have a 9 to 5. So I've been speaking regularly, training and coaching regularly. And I've got a keen sense for knowing that it's going to show up because I've cleared my calendar, if you will, for the things that matter more. And I don't have to, I'm not up late night worried about making the corner on my bills.
You are living, man.
Makes sense.
Yeah,
you're living.
And
So
I want to inspire people too, by the way. This isn't ego.
Goal accomplished.
It was a 20 freaking year grind. And I also did a phenomenally good job. And again, I have systems and tools, and it's not just me, but I have some amazing people running that organization. The numbers you cited, and I've been out of my role now a year and a half, and it's as good or better within my absence, which isn't good for my ego because I'd like to think I'm still important, but I get to be a grandparent now. Yep. You know how grandparents pick up the kids and they spoil them and they do all the fun stuff, and then they're, poopy diaper or a problem, they give it back, figure out this compliance thing. And so again, it's the product of we're the average of the 3 to 5 people we spend the most time with, and influencers are not a dime a dozen. They're treated like treasure, and man, it changed everything for me to have the right people left and right.
Well, I will tell you, you've done your job today because you've inspired both myself and Stone. Mm-hmm. And I know you've inspired people that have not only listened to the podcast, but also are watching this post show. So how do people get in touch with you and or get a copy of this book?
So the easy way is rickhale.com. So earlier you asked about tools and resources. I've got about 7 or 8 different tools I use in a workshop. So I actually do a workshop. It's a 4-hour workshop that helps people. I start with psychology and the process, and then we work down and dig in deep and get really clear where they want to be in 12 categories of life 5 years from now, so that when they get there, they turn around and look back, they're proud and excited and life's awesome. So rickhale.com. Every tool and resource I use in the workshop's available. At this point, it's not monetized, and I don't intend to make it that way. I plan to have video tutorials. That's coming. That's the next phase of the journey. And rickhale.com is easy, and then it's on Amazon.
In the next phase also, if you're liking what you hear, because Rick's voice is very pear-shaped, mellifluous, beautiful, dulcet tones, is the audio version of your book as well. It's coming.
It's coming.
Guys, listen, no question, jump onto his website, learn something. I know I'm sticking around him a lot more now. It's been too long. And, I always say this, on the YouTube channel, don't forget, hit the subscribe button, and most importantly, hit the notification button so you get notified when wonderful CEOs come on the show. Now, we always throw a CEO here that our producer's going to throw out there underneath of a previous interview we've done. I'm going to go back in the old bag here. I'm going to say back in July 23rd, 2018, hit the link below that our producer Luke's going to put out there. Look at his video and his post show 5 years ago. Look at it today. Guys, thank you so much for watching the post show video wrap up of the Shrimp Tank.
I've been feeling like a shark in a shrimp tank. Big fish, small pond.